Oh, no.
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm just getting camera pretty. So, hi, my name is Hala Citron with I Am Creative and Express Yourself Publishing. And I am so grateful and excited to be speaking to the second contributor interview today, Muhnoo. And I am so incredibly grateful. Again, I will keep saying that over and over again. Invisible No More Stepping into the Spotlight is launching this Friday. April 8th, the Kindle version. And I want you to meet these incredible humans because you need to. There we go. So, the title of her chapter and contribution is called The Fearless Journey. And I wanted to read you just a little bit of her first paragraph. And I'm looking over here at the computer to read some of it because there's so much power in it. And I feel like it's going to be a really good jumping off point to the conversation. So, it's called, says, Where It All Began. That night, as the spotlight went on, it was my cue to MC at the show. I opened with a joke and introduced the series of performances that were to take place. As I engaged with the audience, I noticed that the front row reserved seats for my guests were empty. I caught a glimpse of my special guests, which included then my fiance standing at the door. After the show, I slowly made my way to the exit while people asked questions or took pictures. It was time to leave the premises and travel back home. As I leaned in to get a picture with my special guests, they moved away. I felt awkward and uneasy and questioned what had happened. Whew. That is very descriptive and it just brings you right in. So Manu, tell us more about this fearless journey that you wrote about and yeah, let's hear.
So, being fearless is having the courage, right? And for me, in my writing, I got a little candid to express what it means to feel rejected, what it feels like, that awkwardness you feel when you're not embraced for your power, your talent, whatever that you stand for. I have a dry sense of humor. I can be corny. I have the different parts of myself that you and some other people that have been in my life for a while know about. And having that and having being able to portray that and be in my power became an issue at a certain age of life. Like, it led me to go into hiding. And the impact of that is something that I don't think is unique to me. I think a lot of us, when we're children, we're born so innocent. We do what we want to. We feel the way we want to. We express our opinion. We express our talents, whatever naturally, innately comes to us. And then we slowly, based on the imprinting that we receive from our environment, we just start to shut down. So this is just a glimpse where it all began. It's just a glimpse of where it really started to allow me, not allow me, but push me rather into going into this turtle shell, this really hard shell where I did not want people to see that I could be funny, that I could be on stage. A lot of people, even my coworkers, when I was working, they're like, "Well, you used to stand up, or did you did MC? You did what? Like what?" And that surprise element was there. And what was the cost of that? So having the courage, stepping out and being able to face my own mirror, being able to look at myself and be like, you know what, this is you. This makes me happy. This makes my light shine. And am I going to continue to allow other people to, make it convenient for them,
Mm,
make it convenient for them and hide myself? Or am I going to allow myself that presence, allow myself that honor of this humanness, this gift of life that I have, because, and I'm not saying that we express ourselves at the cost of other people. That is not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to allowing that space because individually we allow other people, we're courteous, we're kind, we're loving towards other people. So why not towards ourselves? What stops us? And for me, it was the fear of rejection. For me, it was, the shame, the guilt that, oh, I'm in the spotlight and it's taking away from the people that are closest to me.
mm,
And that guilt and that pain of whatever it is that other people are experiencing. So this is a twofold thing. A, I'm not having them be accountable for whatever they're feeling and for them to step up. B, I'm also enabling them. And two, I'm not allowing myself to be self-expressed, fully self-expressed. So yeah, so this is a little, glimpse of my journey into how I've been able, how I'm in the process of shedding my fear, the shame, the guilt, and finding that inner courage within myself and stepping up, showing up in who I am, showing up the way I am. And often, we have life's journeys and we're like, oh, we want to show up when we're in the perfect condition, when we have a certain net worth or when we are going to be okay in other people's eyes. And this chapter is totally about, and it's also helped me gain insight that, our net worth is not our self worth, and it's not how we, it's not our expectations of how other people's expectations are going to project onto us. Like, we don't have to always be picture perfect. And there've been times like where I've been a complete mess, and I've showed up. It's how we show up. Do we show up? Are we okay with showing up? And yeah, sometimes we have to become fearless about it, because I believe that we show up looking with our hair disheveled and we feel like, what are people going to say? We become so consumed by other people's opinions of us that we lose ourselves. So yeah.
Whew. Did you hear that, everybody? The showing up, the fearless, the net worth is not our self-worth. I want to ask your opening paragraph. How old were you in this circumstance when you were, generally? You don't have to remember exactly.
I think I was 17-ish, 17, 18 maybe.
Okay. So you were just at that really impressionable time.
Yeah. Maybe, no. I would say a little bit over 18.
Okay.
A little bit over 18, but yeah, still in my tweens, in between 20s, and not really fully discovered the real world, but transitioning.
But before this, you were very expressive. Like, you were on stage. You were doing all of this without even thinking twice about it.
Right. Yeah, it was a different world. It was like, high school or middle school or elementary school. I just felt that that's what's expected, and it was part of my life. It became part of my expression. It was part of me. Being on street theater, especially back when I was in India. So this incident, that's the opening paragraph, actually took here in New Jersey, in the States. And prior to that, there was no restraint as per se, because I had that support network, the environment. And I think environment is so important. I know we have this whole debate. We talk about, sometimes nurture versus nature. But the environment definitely has a pivotal role, because you can have a seed of creation. And I know I talk about that in my previous chapter book, that seed of creation. If we don't, if we don't let it germinate and grow, it's going to die. And what it felt like for the seed of creativity that I carried within me since I was born or whatever, when I had the right environment, it was blossoming. And as soon as, I got the wrong environment, I just felt it was being crushed, as if the sand around me was being just taking the nutrients out. And how long is that going to allow someone's creativity to flow? So definitely this chapter kind of flows into from the previous chapter book that I had the opportunity to write with you, where it says courage is the life of creativity, and where the seed of creation within us is what we need to allow to grow, and how creativity comes into beingness of ourselves. So yeah, and I think having that courage, stepping up, looking at ourselves in the mirror, however we show up in our authentic selves, is so important.
Yeah.
It is so important.
So it's this journey. Again,
Mhm.
going back to your title, The Fearless Journey. So life happened, growing, expanding, everything that's happening.
Mhm.
So when did it get to that point again where you were like, and of course we're not going to give everything away because people are going to read your chapter, but
Right.
when, just generally, if you can tell us a little bit of like, when were you just like, screw you, like, like enough is
So this
enough.
is not in the book. It was when I came across Anais Nin's statement, and it just something just clicked that day. Well, this part is in the book, but what happened came after that. So Anais Nin actually said, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And something clicks in me. It's like there's this need and want for me to be fully self-expressed,
Mm.
in my beingness. I have these all these made up words that I love to use, and people close to me know that. And in my beingness, I was not okay. I felt I was suffocating. I was pretending to be someone I'm not, because those are the parameters that the society was expecting me to do, and I was fulfilling them. I was having my priorities straight, or having my life together based on what other people's expectations would be of me. But
Right.
when I looked in the mirror and I just looked at myself, it's like there's something missing. What is that missing piece? And the interesting part is that missing piece trickled down in every area of my life, whether it was in my romantic relationships, whether it was in my personal relationships, whether it was in my career, whether it was in my relationship with my child, whether it was my child's friends. And I was like, that's not, I mean, that is the way a lot of people function. And I'm functioning too. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong. It's not about ego, but it's about feeling fulfilled, feeling whole and complete.
Mm.
And that for me, there came a point I was like, no, enough is enough. I deserve to
Mm.
be my authentic self and embrace myself. Literally, just embrace myself for who I am. Only then can I do justice to people in my life, no matter how painful, no matter how difficult. Because the hardest part for us humans is to be able to deal with the fear of rejection. Whether it's in our job, whether it's through someone you're dating, someone you're around, even as friends, and regardless, it's so easy to hide away.
Yeah.
It is so easy to hide away because it doesn't allow us to confront ourselves. But when we hide away, the reality is we're not hiding away from someone else, we're hiding away from ourselves. And there came a point in my life I had just, nope, no more. So that's what happened, Hollis.
So that's stepping into the spotlight.
Hmm.
That's the proverbial spotlight. That's
Yes.
where it's just like, enough. I am ready to connect with myself. I am ready to, I deserve it.
Hmm.
I am worthy of this.
Wholly, wholly, wholly and completely, connect with myself and be committed to it without feeling so attached. Like, okay, if I do this, what's the outcome going to be? So rather than focus on the outcome, just being honest with myself, becoming present with myself, giving myself permission to be in the beingness of who I am.
Yeah.
And that was the magic point in my life, because now when I'm communicating with you or people that are close to me or anybody in my life, whether it's the people I work with, people that matter so much to me, regardless of how their response to me is, or regardless of how their reaction to me is, I'm
Yeah.
able to show up in my element, you know? And yes, it can be painful, because when I'm being vulnerable and I'm showing in my element, I am not going to get the response from
Mm.
someone. But my hope is that in the power that I stand, that enough people can notice that. And so if I'm leading by example, I'm hoping that other people can start feeling whole and complete and not hide away.
so much power in your words. And even just in knowing you, there's there's so much growth. There's so much growth. Like,
Yeah.
because the voice is so much stronger, even with you having a cold and even with all this. There is power in all the words that you are saying, because it's when we own it, right? And we
Yeah.
truly believe it, and these are our words that I am saying, not because they were fed to me, not because I'm just saying something that needs I the expectation. It's something that's real. It's something that's real. So your words are so powerful and
Thank you.
so appreciated.
Thank you. And you're a big part of this journey, Hollis, and you know it.
Well,
We've known each other for a while now, a long while. And I think even when I look at, you knew that I'm wanting to express myself. And so that environment, and you with a lot other people that I actually mentioned in the chapter book, which I'm hoping that that is my way of gratitude. And it's not just one person. When we grow, the environment that I talk about is so important, because it takes, just like it takes a village to raise a child, it takes everybody around us. I used to think that people can be self-made. Yeah, sure. We do the work, but you also have to have the environment, a good team. And even the people where I felt in my environment who tried to squash my dreams, I'm grateful to them as well,
mm,
because it allowed me to kind of question myself when I would look at the literal mirror, like, at night or in the morning brushing my teeth, and I was like, but who am I? And what is it that fulfills me?
that is such an incredible, beautiful point, because people can become victims or they
Mm-hmm.
can become empowered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a journey. And I'm going to keep going back to your title because I love it, The Fearless Journey. You keep plugging away. And when that person is squashing you, you could be like, thank you. Thank you for that, because you've just enabled me to grow that much bigger.
Yeah.
To
And
just
there's a secret in
grow,
this book,
grow.
by the way. The title is called Abhay Yatra, which is Sanskrit for fearless journey. And there is a project that I'm working with one of my friends, Como, that is going to reveal itself in the future with the fearless journey as Abhay Yatra. So fingers crossed.
It's happening.
Yeah,
It's happening. So then this is actually a perfect segue to tell people a little bit more about what you do and then how they can connect with you.
sure. So I'm a therapist. I work with women and children. I work with different populations of underserved communities currently. And I love working with people who've had adjustment issues, like some people who've had been in the foster care, kinship adoption, and getting candid with them, allowing them to feel empowered. And that is something that I'm extremely passionate about. That is something that is my day job, as most people call. And I do love to write. And I've been in collaborative projects that are underway right now with a couple of my friends, a couple of my loved ones, where I'm trying to bring together an awareness of becoming more self empowered. And my goal is that we all can come together regardless of our differences, regardless of where we're sitting, especially thanks to the pandemic, we're able to do this now. So technology has brought us closer, that we can come together and just try for once to be authentic and empower others around us. It's doable. There's a lot of people who are doing this, and I think the consciousness level of the world around us is rising,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm just one of them. Just one of them doing my part, and I'm very easy to talk to. I'm very approachable,
She
and I
is.
love listening to other people's ideas. I'm full of ideas, and yeah. So let's see where this journey of my life has taken me, and whose lives are going to get intertwined, and I'm open to that.
Well, what you do is your, like you said, your day job, and what you do in general, I see it as one thread.
Yeah,
It's one and the same, because it's
yeah,
about empowerment. It's about
yeah,
seeing people where they are, lifting them up, no letting them letting them know that this is a safe space and that there is so much room for expansion, and do the work,
Mhm.
but the work becomes joy.
Yeah, yeah, you said it.
So it's a thread. What you do is just it's all one. So how can people find you?
So through LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook as well. I'm going to put the stuff, put my username as well. Alice, if you have links, you can please share that as well. I'm also sometimes on Instagram. I'm trying to be a little bit more present there, especially with my silly Saturdays that some people have been privy to, and that's my comeback of my humorous self and just the silly side of me, one part of me.
Hmm.
So yeah, these are some of the links that people can get in touch with me or private message me.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Manu, thank you
Thank
for
you.
willing to be part of this journey and exploration and community. It's just a beautiful space.
Thank you, Hollis. And
So,
thank you, everyone, for your support as well.
yes, thank you, everybody. We're so appreciative. All of the links will be available on Friday, April 8th, 99 cents on Kindle. We appreciate your support, and these stories are just so inspiring. And you just, you need to know these people just because it's so authentic and so raw and
And
so
also,
relatable.
Hollis, before we forget, this actually, whatever people are contributing, and when they get the book, our proceeds are going to the World Central Kitchen.
Thank
So,
you.
yes, especially in today's day and age, I think we're doing our part of bringing food to whatever is going on in this world with Russia and Ukraine. I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but this is our part of at least bringing meals. I think they have done 300,000 or some 3 million meals. I could be wrong. There's a huge difference between the numbers, but they've been
Yeah.
providing a lot of meals for the refugees and people who are not in a very pleasant state of living right now. So the
So
book's proceeds are definitely, all of the proceeds are going to the ruralcentralkitchen.org.
they are. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. So, everybody, thank you. I will be joining you again 2 more times today to meet 2 more contributors a little later in the afternoon. And we just appreciate you watching, and we appreciate you. So we wish you a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, wherever you are in this world, and be talking to you soon. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.